It is the ego's job to bring your attention every single time to yourself. You do something, say you're doing a meeting and you're asked to chair the meeting. If you're fixated on yourself, of how you're coming across, how your energy is, if you're able to perform the way that you would like to perform, the ego will direct your attention to yourself. And there's something extraordinary that happens when you let go of this control, when you let go of the focus on yourself, when you let go of this ego. Your life becomes way harder when you're constantly judging yourself or comparing yourself or evaluating how you fit in, or evaluating what is your place over here. And if you're all the time, if you're focused on yourself, it's no matter how good you are, because the way that you operate is coming from there, you'll always feel lack, you'll always feel judged, you'll always feel not free, so on and so forth. A lot of the problems on a day-to-day that we feel aren't external problems. They become problems because it's the ego that gets in the way and tries to tries to create that thinking of if you're good enough, and it creates a lot of doubt, and it creates a lot of evaluation and thinking which doesn't go anywhere. It's all ego. Once you start practicing, and that is why this is a process, because what happens is the conditioning or whatever we get from the society, it's always relative. It's always comparing. Who is the better looking person? Who is the funnier person? Who is a smarter person? Whose grades are better? Who speaks better? So on and so forth. Because we're constantly conditioned to think like that, we're programmed to think like that, we over time in relation to the society develop an ego. And because of that ego, we're never really free, and we're not looking at the world with a clear lens to observe things as they are. And that causes a lot of friction within, that causes a lot of resistance within, that causes a lot of unnecessary thinking. The extraordinary power comes in when you let go of that ego that you have developed. The lesser the focus is on you, and the more focus you are towards outside and doing the things that make you feel present and alive, you'll see that it's actually not that hard. And that whatever time you've spent judging yourself or evaluating yourself or comparing yourself to other people, it's all just a mind-made gimmick. It's not real. It's something delusional. When you let go of that and you're focused on the outside, not thinking if you fit in, not thinking about yourself, but being focused outside and genuinely being curious of what the outside holds and what are the different moving parts, and being interested in things outside of yourself. With practice, you'll see that it wasn't that much of an issue that your mind had created. But because the ego has been trained for so long, it always wants you to think about all of these things. You have to let go and observe and be curious about things in front of you. You don't need to evaluate yourself. You don't need to judge yourself. You don't need to see if you fit in. You are. So you're enough as it is. You have to direct your attention outward and genuinely be curious of what the world has to offer, what people have to say, what people want to share, what is going on in other people's lives. Not in a sneaky way, but being genuinely interested in things outside, and not always thinking about yourself of how you're being perceived or what is your status. If you're just all about me, it's your life is too small. You're always going to be stuck in a bubble, and you're not going to be able to explore the beautiful things outside, because every time you open your eyes, you're seeing the world with the lens of me. How am I fitting in? Like, the world is way more than your ego. You have to let go. You have to turn your focus outside, and you will see that is gonna take down your load, take down your stressors, take down make your mood way lighter, and your overall well-being turns 100% better if you're just interested in the things and the activities you're doing, and you're genuinely curious about what the world has to offer, as opposed to thinking about yourself. Try this. It's not going to be an overnight process. It's definitely not. But it's worth doing. If you find yourself that a lot of times you do think a lot about yourself, you have to learn to let go of that identity ego thing that holds you in that overthinking loop, in that space which is not really free. You feel stuck and you feel constricted. You need to let go, and you need to practice this one day at a time, where you do all of these things. You're focused outwards, and you start practicing this. With a few weeks, a few months, you'll see a rapid change of how you're seeing things. And again, that's going to be a process too, but it's the process that is absolutely worth having. It's going to reduce your stressors way more than you can possibly imagine, and it's going to make your life way more fulfilling, way more interesting, and way more intriguing than it is now. Try this, share with a friend. Let me know what you think. If there's anything that you want me to make a video on, I love your feedback. Empower yourself and empower the world. I'll talk to you in the next video.